This might be the most satisfying moment of the day for you, right, right here. Okay, so all the same principles apply here on the backhand that we talked about on the forehand, with the body needing to do more work, the arms being more passive, the body leading the way.
Yes.
The visual cues are a little different because both hands are connected to the racket. So the body doesn't lead out in front as aggressively, but it still leads. So I want you to watch the logo on his shorts and also the logo on his chest, and watch how they both start turning before his racket actually comes forwards. They start turning as his racket is kind of falling below where the ball is. His chest has already transitioned forward quite a lot. That left knee is turning in, and the racket is just starting to come forwards now, after his chest and his hips have already started turning. So the setup position, or the preparation position, has his hips perpendicular to the baseline, and his chest is turned a little bit further back than that. So there's kind of some separation on the preparation for a two-handed backhand, with the chest turned a little bit past the hips. By the time contact is made, the chest catches up to the hips, so that at contact, the hips and the chest are both facing towards the ball. They're not parallel to the baseline. It's a little short of parallel. And again, that's because both arms are connected to the racket, instead of a single arm on the forehand, where there's just more freedom for the arm and the racket to kind of swing freely. So in your preparation, similar to your forehand, you're in a strong place. Your hips are perpendicular to the court. Your shoulders are a little bit past your hips, so that's great. That's a good starting position. And what you said early on is correct. Your hips and your shoulders are much more active on your backhand. And so at contact, we're actually in a really, let me bring this up. You're actually doing a pretty fantastic job, honestly. This might be the most satisfying moment of the day for you, right here. And so look relative to the baseline for both of you. Your position of your chest and your hips. You're in a really, really similar position.
His arms are different.
They are, yeah. And I also want you to look at, you might think this is just like me clowning on you at first, but it's not. I want you to look at his facial expression and look at your facial expression.
Yes. I understand what you're pointing out. Yeah.
What do you think I'm pointing out?
My head is in it somehow. Like I'm proving something. Like the ball represents something.
Nice.
And he's just like, this is work. This is what I do. Like this is just. He's relaxed. He's just more relaxed about it. Like he's expressionless. He's not wasting energy.
Yeah.
In his face.
So it's interesting. You came at it almost from a psychological perspective, but how does it, and you briefly touched on the physiological, how does that manifest itself physically?
Tightening, probably.
Yeah. And so I think that has most to do with the difference in your arms. Novak here, you're totally right. Looks like he's just like in some kind of like meditative, like Zen, like, whereas your hit through the ball, we've just looked up to contact. And so I want you to look at your after contact reaction with your body. It matches that look on your face. Like your arms are totally like locked in, they're rigid. And it's a shame because the transition with your body is actually really strong and powerful. But your arms are still saying, hold my beer. Like let me take care of this for you. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna shadow together, and the focus here is really gonna be pretty exclusively on arm looseness. I like your preparation position. Go ahead and start there, just like in your normal turned position. And so I'm gonna ask you to think about two things. Thing number one is gonna be leading with the hips, which in real life you normally do now anyway.
That feels natural.
Good. So that's thing number one, but that's mostly going to happen on its own. So I want 90% of your attention and focus to be on simply having your arms and hands be totally passive and let your hips actually just kind of lead your arms around. Okay. And let's actually start with this. Put your racket down, and you've probably done this to warm up. Just rotate your hips back and forth, and I want you to loosen up your arms as much as possible so they're like totally passive. And so as your hips transition to the right, there's a little bit of lag or time in between when your hips go and when your arms go. Your arms kind of follow behind a little bit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Can you kind of feel that?
Yep.
So it's like your body goes and then your arms follow. Okay, and now pick up your racket and put both your hands on your racket, and I'd like to see you do the same thing. Just rotate your hips back and forth, and I want you to physically loosen your hands and your arms as much as possible. So they're totally passive. Okay, and now we're gonna bring it back to like a normal like backhand thing, where I want you to just remember that feeling that you had with your arms and your hands, and lead with your hips and have the arms follow through. I didn't mean to use follow through, but kind of interesting the phrase, isn't it? The hands are following and then they release through contact. Actually, never thought about that before. I didn't mean to use like a tennis term, right. But that's literally like what it means. Your hands are following your hips. And now we're just gonna add one more thing to it. You're gonna start off in your preparation position. Your hips and your chest are gonna start. Your hands are gonna follow. And then I want you to finish the motion in like a backhand, style. But I want your hands and your arms to remain completely passive. Mm-hmm. And let's just do one at a time now. But I like what you're doing. But let's each repetition start off turning to the side.
Sorry for the whole
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, I got you too in the zone there. Body initiates, arms stay passive, and just do one repetition at a time. Good job.
That one, I had too much arm. I wasn't thinking about putting this first.
Okay, good. Nice job, good awareness. Here's that same swing we looked at before from Novak. Yeah, you can see there's looseness, there's, like his arms are pliable, like they're,
Yes, like Gumby, yes.
yeah, they're not rigid. And now your arms are too. So look at remember you pointed out contact before? Remember how you pointed out your arms at contact?
Yes.
Look at that. Once again, your contact point has been fixed without thinking about contact. Just like the forehand. And so now, there's some ability for your arms to extend, just like Novak. Like the two of you are super similar now. And it's because you're just not muscling through it anymore. I mean, really, look at the two of you. Your body position, your arm position, your hand position, super similar. Yeah. Contrast that really quickly with, obviously we're not hitting a ball yet, but you look at the, And so on the left, this is arm-centric hitting. And on the right, this is body-centric hitting. This is efficient and smooth. You'll be able to hit this thousands of times without much wear and tear on your body, and the result will be dramatically stronger with less effort. This one is a lot of tension, a lot of tightness, a lot of effort in for not. That's what it is, yeah. There's a lot of effort in for not a lot of result out. And so I'd like you to go back through some slow, smooth shadows again, please. And I want all of your attention and focus to be on only the two things that you were just thinking about. And that was your body turning, which only takes 10% of your focus. The other 90% is going to be on just loosening your arms as much as possible. You're not allowed to think about anything else. Two more of those. Good. Okay, we're going to do one shadow swing, and then I'm going to do two fake tosses off to the left. And your only goal is to make all three of them the same. The one shadow, Fake toss. Fake toss. Good. Shadow swing. Fake toss. Fake toss. Good. Okay, now we're going to go shadow, fake, and then hit. Try to make all three the same. Fake. Hit. Good, nice job. Let's do it again. That was a bad toss. Shadow. Loosen the arms. Fake. Loosen the arms. Hit. Loosen the arms. Good. Nice job. Good flow with the arms. Here's the fake. You're doing what a lot of students do, which I think is really smart on the fake toss.
Don't even look at it?
Yeah. Like you're literally, you're like, it's not there, it's not there, it's not there. Yeah.
Focus.
Yeah, I think it's smart. I think this tells the story. This is kind of all you need to know. On the right is Zen Pamela, and on the left is control of Pamela. Yeah. And so look at your arms. I've never asked you to focus on, again, on the contact point. It's just happened because of the looseness that you have. And so the follow through on the left just continues that pattern of like rigidity. Your arms basically are single piece, you know, like locked in the whole way through. And the one on the right, there's actually flow to it and smoothness to it.
Where the body led them.
Yeah. You're not trying to force some kind of position. It's just happening on its own.
I feel like part of me can feel it, but also I need you to tell me, or also I need to like do this, all of which is inefficient.
If
So
you're
like if we were gonna do that and you were like, we got 50% of them good, like how would you know? Would you just look, or would you like, let's measure?
First of all, if your judgment of a good practice session versus a bad practice session is quantity of shots, then you're going about it the wrong way. If changing your habits is the goal.
But how do I know when I've done it right?
Video. That's the only way.
Video.
It's the only way. You're guessing otherwise. And I don't guess. Like I don't feel comfortable guessing. I could make a pretty informed guess. But I'd much rather know before I make a recommendation to somebody who.
So you would literally like do a bunch of them and then check them and go, okay, about half of these were good. We'll move on.
Yep.
I see.
Yep. It doesn't have, if you practice for 10 minutes, like you don't have to review the whole 10 minutes, but take I would say at least 10 swing sample and be like, all right, out of these 10, how many of them did my shoulders actually get to parallel? 2 out of 10? Well, shoot, like let's go back and let's try it again. Gotcha. Like we're not going to make it harder.
The part where you like look at it and pull it up, that's not like just like some thing like that. You're actually being like, well, how many are good?
Yeah. No, it's telling me like we might need to make it easier. Like if we're not making any progress, then this is too hard. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to do it correctly. Mm-hmm. If you're not doing it correctly, what are we doing? Like we're wasting our time. So yeah, I'm constantly trying to shift more difficult or more easy, so that there's like a sweet spot between 50%, 75% is kind of the sweet spot. Mm-hmm. If you're doing 10 out of 10 of them right, well, we're not progressing. Like we need to make more progress. If you're doing 1 out of 10, we're also wasting our time. But you're not doing it right.